preparing for the written component of PCE exam? If yes, then I hope this video helps you a little bit in understanding the process through my journey. Hi, I'm Asmita Sangave and I'm here to share my PCE journey. I successfully completed the written component of PCE exam in May 2023 in my first attempt. So let's back it up a little bit and see where it all started. I think it started way back in January 2022 when I was researching how do I go about this. I started my credentialing process, got it done, and then started looking for how to study, when to study, where to study. So the three big questions, right? So I asked around for a few friends. My friends suggested me StudyBuddy, and I did my research. I came across Ankit. I spoke to him and told him about my anxiety about going back to studies. I had not opened the books for the last 10 years, but he was very kind enough to explain me the process, the framework of the studies, and he gave me confidence that I can do it. So that's how I chose StudyBuddy and the journey began. So I started watching his lectures. His lectures are very nice, and it gives us a very basic understanding, because that basic understanding is very important for the competitive exams like this. So those lectures really helped me a lot. But I think the biggest help that I got was my mentorship. So my mentor was Ankush, and after watching those lectures and making my own handwritten notes, I used to always go back and revise my handwritten notes, because that helped me a lot rather than watching the lecture again and again. Because once you understand the lecture and make your notes, that helps you better to revise. That worked for me. But when I took Ankush's mentorship, that changed the game altogether, because besides those lectures, what else you should study, how to study, and from where to study, going back to those books and going back to our basics was very important for me. So Ankush gave us a good idea of how to prepare. But I think the most important part was solving questions. So we did a lot of questions with Ankush as well as our study group. We have 5 mocks in StudyBuddy. I gave all 5 of them, and that kind of helped me to sit for 4 hours and focus on the exam, which is very important, because as easy it sounds that you just have to sit and give the exam, because we have so habituated of sitting for 4 hours for watching Netflix, right? But no, it required a lot of focus when we were sitting for the exam, and StudyBuddy mock gave me that focus. So it is very important for you all to prepare that. Besides that, I had a lot of anxiety for this exam, as I'm sure you might also face this. But I think if you keep focus, if you keep going, you got this. You can do this. There were a lot of times that I stopped. I just closed my books and I said, I don't want to do this. But then I used to see the Instagram reels that StudyBuddy posted every Monday. And I used to imagine to myself that if they can do it, why not me? They were in a very difficult situation. I'm a little bit in a comfort situation than them. Then why not me, right? So that really motivated me. And I started watching those videos every Monday, and I was sharing that to my study partners as well. So that was another strategy that helped me to keep going, because that was my biggest challenge. Besides that, time management is something that you should be looking for. Manage your time very well. As my mentor Ankush used to always tell us, to divide the day in 4 categories where you decide to study. For first of 3-4 hours, say MSK, then the second 2-3 hours you study cardio, then the next 2 hours you study neuro, and so on. So divide your day. Do not focus on one subject per day, because that can become a little boring and monotonous. We don't want that, right? It's already so much pressure. But if you have so much portion to cover in a very limited time, if you manage the time well, you can do this. I'm sure you can do this. So do that. Time management is a very important component of PCE. Have study partners, because sometimes when you study and you have an understanding of a particular topic, but when you start discussing it with others, you understand their perspective of that topic, and maybe you have understood it wrong sometimes. Maybe they have a different understanding. So that discussions kind of like lifts your cells in your brain, and it helps you to develop the reasoning which is required in solving these questions. So another thing that we learned in the Q&A sessions with our mentor was this, that when he used to ask us questions, we had to answer them in a minute and with the logic, with the reason. So that kind of helped me in developing my reasoning and my logic, and that is more important than anything else. So solving questions will literally help you in that. Another I think challenge that I faced was remembering things like, say, lab values or say your cranial nerves and so on. But in this case, then the mnemonics help you a lot. So try and make your own mnemonics, whichever works for you. I think I made mnemonics for many topics, like several topics. Pooja ma'am gave us such great mnemonics for those lab values. That really helped me to remember the lab values very well. Even Ankit sir used to give mnemonics for, say, the carpal bones or whatever, right? So just make your mnemonics and try to get that. And make a table. I think that worked for me. So whenever you're studying, when you're making your own notes, try to make it as concise as you can, because you can't keep revising 20 pages for one topic, right? So say if you're discussing about pulmonary conditions, so make a table of like cystic fibrosis or pulmonary fibrosis or COPD and so on, and there are specific points. So when you want to revise your pulmonary conditions, you just have it all in one page. Similarly, for MSK, I used to make tables where, I had these tables for shoulder conditions. Say you're talking about rotator cuff, you're talking about frozen shoulder. So, what is the differential point between these two things? What is the similar point? How do you differentially diagnose these conditions? And how would the treatment differ? And so on. So, I think that also really helped me a lot. So that's one thing. And for quick revisions, I think Arava's reels, the reels that were posted on Instagram, StudyBuddy Instagram, are very helpful because they were very, like, you have studied it in detail, but when you want to go back and revise it quickly, those reels really help. So keep a watch on those reels and try to watch them whenever you feel like revising, when you're traveling or when you're cooking. It's an easier way to keep revising things, so do that as well. Besides that, I think I made WhatsApp groups of my own self where I used to share small sections which I think I need to remember, say like the exercise termination criteria in cardio. So I know that I have to revise that daily. So some topics which I have to revise daily, so I used to keep it in my phone every day. So whenever I used to get time while traveling, while cooking, while just relaxing, sitting, I just open my phone and I used to go through those. So make a different section of daily topics revision where you have to go through those topics daily so that it helps. So I think in conclusion, what I would say is revision is key. Keep revising daily. And if I want to sum it up, watch your lectures. That's number one. Make your own notes so that you don't have to go back to lectures again and again. And you can do the revision from your personalized notes. After that, I would say textbooks, because once you have the basic understanding from the lectures that Ankit sir and Mayank sir and Pooja ma'am teaches, it is easier for us to read the textbook and understand the topic much more better. Once you did this, then go and solve the questions, because these questions will help you in understanding whether you have understood the topic well or not. So once you solve the questions, start discussing the rationale. I used to discuss it with my study partner because that just made it easier, because then I won't take it. I mean, if I solved the mock today, then I would solve it that day itself. If I had to do it all alone, I would like take my own sweet time. That's why. So once I start seeing the reasoning, the rationale of the questions, I know where I'm going wrong. I made a book of each topic where I used to write down this rationales to understand which topic I have missed out. So the next time before I give the next mock, I used to study those topics and go. So that's how you progress in your mocks. It's okay if you get less in your first mock. I got less, I think, in my first three mocks, but eventually the goal is to progress and keep learning and keep going on. So I think I hope this my journey helped y'all. If y'all want to ask any questions, or if you want me to share anything with you all, please let me know. Uh, this I think you got this. You are going to do great. So all the best and do well.